Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about Alien vs. Predator. And this movie came out in 2004, and it's directed by Paul W.S. Anderson. I have actually seen this movie before, but I don't really remember much about it in terms of like my first viewing. And going to the director, Paul W.S. Anderson, I've seen a few of his movies. I've seen Resident Evil 1, 2, and The Final Chapter. Those are the other movies I've seen from him, and out of everything I've seen, I would say that this is his best movie so far. Unfortunately, that's not saying all that much because I didn't think this movie was very good. And also, those other movies I just mentioned, I've rated all three of those movies 1 out of 10s. The Final Chapter being my least favorite movie of all time. So, yeah. At the very least, this movie wasn't painfully boring or just like an absolute chore to sit through, even if that isn't saying all that much. But there were some things that I did like about this movie. I did like the practical effects in this movie, and I did appreciate that this movie didn't waste a whole lot of time. Like, I felt like things were moving at an acceptable pace. I was like, okay, this is happening, and then this is happening, and it all plays out exactly how you would imagine in terms of what happens in the plot, but at the very least, it doesn't really waste any time. It's only like an hour and 40 minutes, so kind of a low commitment movie. And I did think the movie got much better once we got inside the main pyramid, which is the main location in this movie. And I was like, okay, at least we're here now. This is where I want to be because this is where all the action is going to start happening. That's the most entertaining part of the movie. Is it any good? Not really. Is it scary? Not at all. I didn't find any of this movie to be scary. It didn't capture what made the original Alien movies great. Like, there's a bunch of callbacks to those other movies, like the first two Alien movies especially, and even Predator, like the first Predator, there were some callbacks to that movie. And it was kind of a nostalgia bait movie in ways. Like, I was just feeling like, really? Did we need that? There were a bunch of sound effects that were loud and distracting, and it almost felt like, for at least the first half of the movie was trying to create jump scares out of just simple sound, simple movements. Like, a character would appear out of the dark and that would be a jump scare, and that was annoying. And things like that would happen quite a bit, and there were lots of annoying conveniences. And I do feel as though this movie used too many close shots to where I couldn't really see the location all too well. Like, I love the set design, like, it looks cool, but it just didn't really show it properly for me. And I just felt a little too claustrophobic in scenes that didn't really benefit from that at all. There were also lots of stock sound effects, sprinkled throughout the movie. Like, something would fall over. It's that sound effect I've heard in a billion times in other movies, or like characters walking, or just anything. Gunshot sound effects. It just sounded exactly the same in every other movie that I've seen. And also, I just didn't really care about anything that was going on. Not because I was bored, but because I just had no attachment to any of these characters. I don't care about any of them. Even the ones that they do give some development to, I just don't really feel anything. And I kind of want to get to the action because that's what you're probably wanting to see in a movie like this. Really cool action scenes. Like, you want to see predators and aliens fighting each other. And there's about as much of that as there is Godzilla versus Kong and like those two fighting in that movie. Like, not a whole lot of it. Or like Batman versus Superman, for example. Like, the fight between Batman and Superman lasted for like 10 minutes tops. And that's about as much aliens and predators fighting in this movie, runtime wise. Like, it lasts for like, I'll be generous and say like 15 minutes tops. And a lot of the movie is just scenes of nothing happening. But going back to the action, it was kind of a letdown for me because it just felt too video gamey for me. It didn't feel real. It didn't feel immersive. It just felt like I was watching a video game the whole time. And with the movie feeling cartoonish, it didn't just stop with the action scenes. It also had that feel for the entirety of the movie. Like I was just watching a video game, like a live action adaptation of a video game, which now that I think about it, kind of makes sense because Paul W.S. Anderson has quite a bit of experience with adapting video games into movies. He did it with Resident Evil and also Mortal Kombat, which I haven't seen yet. But I can't imagine it's anything great. So, Alien vs. Predator, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. It's not the worst Alien movie. It's not the worst Predator movie. It was watchable-ish, I guess, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's nothing special. It's not something that you will walk away satisfied from because of the action scenes and how the film is structured. It's just nothing special. If you ask me, it's not what I would watch a versus movie for. If I'm just going to have a couple minutes of aliens fighting predators, you can just watch that stuff on YouTube. And that's all there is to it. So skip this movie if you ever come across it. And with all that being said, I'm going to give Alien vs. Predator a 4 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos. As always, if you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below you thought of Alien vs. Predator, and my social media links. They will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for The Purge. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.